The supply chain nightmare isn't new. I think one of the things about reading, especially books from old, this is The Green Mountain Farm by Elliot Merrick, written in the 1930s, where he was in a farm in Vermont in the 1930s. And after the war, they moved to North Carolina. And he had written this book then to kind of, I guess, to cement his thinking, his remembrance of the past, and how much he misses Vermont farm. Just so much wonderful information here. One of the quotes I'll share with you here real quick if I can find it, is, I think it's on page 70 right there, is there anything more inefficient than the intensified mathematical efficiency that destroys people? Oh, man. I need another spreadsheet on top of my 8,000 spreadsheets I already have. All right, so I just want to share this with you. Everyone knows what ails our economy is the distribution system and the great spread between producer and consumer. It looks to me as though the way to beat that is to provide certain easily produced necessities, such as vegetables, for yourself. We often wonder about the canner's ads that speak of large-scale savings in quantity production perfection. We wonder about the efficiency of chain stores too. Not that they do not perform a service for helpless ones. They do, and naturally one must buy if one does not produce. But why be helpless if one can avoid it? We have found that the only time we lose money on our farm is when we raise stuff to sell. When we eat it ourselves, we get it for less than we can buy. We are our own best market. All we can make of it is that we are happily constituted so that raising food makes us strong and happy and gives us aesthetic delight as well as gustatory pleasure. So we've decided we'd better take advantage of it, and that's that. Man, I tell you, and you can tell my man Merrick's probably kind of like a hippie before hippies were even around, because he talks about monoculture. I don't know if I have that in here anymore. I mean, I know I did. I read this before I was going to bed, and shoot. He talks about monoculture, single. I think I might have a little bit of that here right quick. Did I read this to you guys already? Maybe I did. Let's see. Also pause it. Read this to you, but I'm going to read it again because I just finished this book, and I'll probably put it down, probably never open it again, sadly, but I did highlight it. Now, here's the place. Silas Grosslet lives there, moved there 10 years ago. He's only got 10 cows. Hillside farm, ledges, soil, not very deep. The government would call that a submarginal farm, as sure as shooting. But he gets along. He's got a good team. He and his wife get around a little bit for a visit. He ain't got any mortgage, and he don't owe a nickel to anybody. There's plenty of valley farms 5 times as big as that with richer land that have failed up. The banks got them long ago. Now, what do you make of that? I ain't saying there ain't plenty of poor farms so poor that no one can make a living off them, but I'm telling you, mister, there's such a thing as submarginal men too. What's the government going to do with them? There's plenty of men that couldn't make a living off the best farm that's ever cleared. Anyway, point being is just the supply chain, if you're relying on that for everything, that could be that could be problematic for you. There's no other way around that. And so you might want to think twice about your reliance on supply chain. I just can't stress this enough, man. He talks about supply chain here. The best way to avoid that is to grow something yourself, whatever it is, man. And you might be a barter. Like he talks about the bartering, people cutting hay for each other, people doing roof work, and other guys. He talks about the bartering system all the time. Look, I'm not saying you got to go back to that. I'm just saying we know that the supply chain is very, very suspect. And when it goes down, that's going to be troublesome. You got to be prepared, man. And it's not just because you're like, oh my goodness, the zombies are coming. It's because the supply chains are suspect. Just-in-time inventory, it works like a freaking champ when it works. When it doesn't, it's bad. So I cannot stress this stuff. Anyway, I'm done reading this book. It's good. I'm going on to another one now. I just like reading the old books. There's so much value in reading these old books. One that was written in the 1950s about his experience as a Vermont farmer in the 1930s. And you're just like saying, holy crap, you're dealing with the same stuff I was dealing with. You dealt with the same stuff I'm dealing with now. It's just, it's great. Get off your phone and get off your, you shouldn't be on Twitter, of course, but get off your Facebook and pick up a book. All right, we'll see you guys.